this with just a general comment on tonight's game.
Yeah, I think, just a typical, tough first round game. I thought our guys were ready to play. I thought we competed well for a long time. You tip your hat to SEMO. They're a good team, a lot of depth, a lot of good players, and always sad to kind of see it in.
Yes, the guys, seniors, right? All three of your seniors. A heck of a finish just to get here. I know you wanted to keep playing, but you have to feel good about that step that you took the last couple games of the year again. Talk about that, just address that.
I'll go. It's we are grateful and appreciative to be here. We wanted more, out of this, but you take the wins. That was one thing Coach told us throughout the year. Just appreciate those small wins, and I feel like we did that. Coming into today.
We talked about it, Coach G. We were in every day before practice. We go upstairs, watch film, and he would talk about us getting just to the 8th spot and nothing else. And I think we did a good job. We listened to every detail he said, and he told us that it was going to be us 3 seniors to lead us into that spot, and we did. And obviously, like Kevin said, it wasn't the outcome we wanted, but we put ourselves in the OVC tournament for the first year for Lindenwood, and I think that's a pretty big step, and I think it's going to continue to get great success for the school for the next couple of years.
Yeah, so we had to fight hard to get here. So the last 2 games were pretty tough to get into the tournament. So we fought hard. A lot of tough guys on the team that took everything. We used all our energy, everything to get here. So we ended up short, but it's a good season for us.
Talk about SEMO. You guys only forced, I think, 8 or 9 turnovers in the whole ball game. What were they doing that you couldn't turn it over?
Well, one, they have 4 really good guards, and a guy in Phil Russell that was, probably close to being Player of the Year. So I think it starts with that. I don't think that the turnovers is necessarily, we're kind of a half-court pack line defense. Try to keep the ball out of the paint, try to get back in defensive transition. So, when we find turnovers, it's because we're able to, capitalize off maybe some post doubles or gap help and things like that. So I think that a lot of nights, if you go back through our schedule and you look at the stats, when we played against, good teams, good fundamental teams, good guards, we probably weren't turning people over. The biggest thing for us was always talking about our turnovers, and I think that was even a bigger difference was that, they doubled us up on the turnovers, and that's something that we've always tried to limit, and we just didn't do a good job of that tonight.
How big of a detriment was it to have Cole play just over half of the game?
Yeah.
Take that big piece out of your hat.
Well, I think it's, not just half the game, but just his stat line in general. He meant so much to us. As the year went on, he just got better and better. But then he really was a huge piece for us, these last 10, 12 games, because he was just as big a part as these 3 guys were to us every day. He had earned his way right into the middle of everything that we were doing from a scoring standpoint, from a defensive standpoint. He led the league in 3-point percentage, and I think he maybe ended up second in overall field goal percentage. 7 blocks, something like that. So he was just a huge piece for us. And it was just an unfortunate experience for his career tonight, but I'm sure he'll bounce back and grow from it.
Okay, let me ask from my left to right, how can you sum up first year in the OVC, first year of Division I?
I think it was a pretty good season for us. Our record wasn't, what we would like, but, we had our ups and downs. We fought hard, took a lot to get here, so I'm really proud of these guys. We put everything we had into it, so I'm grateful for the experience.
Yeah, man, it was a crazy season. There's a lot of ups and downs, like Cam said, but I've never been on a team that has this much heart before. Any other team I would have been on, they would have given up down 17, 20 points. No other team in the nation probably would have had the heart to even listen to the coaches and the timeouts, nothing like that. So it just shows how much heart every single person in that program has. And I just want to say, the coaches did a lot of that. They could have easily given up on us, just like us. We could have given up on them, but we didn't. They didn't give up on us. And so, you know, it was awesome to come here and do this, and I'm glad I got to be able to do it with these three dudes right here, and the whole team was the thanks for that. So, yeah.
Let's do Kevin and then Coach.
Yeah, they ain't really leave me much to say, but no, man, it definitely was fun, you know, going through the adversity. You know, we had a long losing streak, and guys was just coming in working every day. You know, that's just what you want to see. You know, I'm sure Coach, you know, he loved that, but you know, this year I'm pretty sure leaves, you know, our program in the community just real optimistic about, you know, going forward. You know, so yeah, I look forward to seeing what Lindenwood does, and I'm very appreciative and grateful for my time here, for sure.
Yeah, I think they summed it up pretty good. You know, obviously challenging, like we just talked about in the locker room. You know, really a bunch of guys that really didn't get together until, you know, school started, because even through our summer session we didn't have our whole team there yet. And so I think for them to, you know, to get that start that we got with Kevin and Brandon really being the only two guys that had played in our program at any point. Having a lot on their shoulders as, you know, guys, Division II guys, for example, that move up and now they're going to play their senior year Division I, and I know they were both excited about it and really took on the challenge. You know, I think it was, again, I agree with what Cam said. You know, I think we just had a lot of tough-minded guys at the end of the day, because, again, we knew the challenge it was going to be, and there was plenty of days where it wasn't easy. I agree with what Brandon said. You know, it's hard for young adults to hang in there, you know, when they don't find that success. And I'll never be disappointed about the character that these guys showed, the leadership that these three guys gave us throughout the season to kind of keep guys together. And like we talked about in the locker room, you know, they gave themselves that opportunity to make it. You know, we have, like they said, we talked about, you know, making it a goal. Like, let's not worry about first, second, or third. Let's start at eighth, you know, and if you end up sixth, great. But first you got to get to eighth. You know, you got to get in. And they made a commitment to that, and that was fantastic, and that's why I was so happy that we made it. And then the second thing we talked about in the locker room, and I think this kind of wraps up our season, is, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like you've got to be able to look at the guys next to you, the guys across from you, and you've got to know that you gave it everything you had. You know, you've got to be able to put the wins and losses aside, because that doesn't define anything. You know, it doesn't define these guys as people. It doesn't define our program. You know, and so I think we accomplished both things. I think obviously we made it, and then I think that when we walked out of here tonight, you know, I think we could be proud of what we did throughout the year.